Good morning, everyone. Today's video is going to be one of those. Let's get this started. Today's video is going to be a video that focuses on two words that are often associated with the arts. And those two words are critic and criticize. And again, this is another one that looks like it should be used the same way in Spanish as we do in Spanish, but we don't use them exactly the same way because the first talks about a person, a critic, and the second talks about an action. Okay, the reason why those are different is that a critic is not a text, which is the way it's often used in Spanish. Okay? You wouldn't use critic in the newspaper, for example, because that word is possible if you're talking about the person, the writer, but not the article. If you're talking about the article that tells you about whether something's good or bad, then what you're looking for is a review. Not a critic, but a review. Critic is the person who writes articles about artistic events or artistic shows. So you often see critics for theater, you see film critics, in Spain you see bullfighting critics, but keep in mind that's the person, it's not the text. You do see the word critique used sometimes, but this is mostly academic. And it's used in the sense of, let me just check the Oxford here, an assessment or review about a group of ideas. So it's not used in the sense of an actual artistic happening. You would see, for example, critiques of Marxism or critiques of feminist theory, but again, that's pretty academic. That's not typically something you would find in a newspaper or a magazine. Criticize, however, is slightly different. Criticize is to find bad things, bad or unacceptable things, let's say, in what somebody says or does. And this is another important distinction. A critic can offer positive or negative opinions, but when you criticize, you're almost always finding unsatisfactory things or unacceptable things in a person's actions or sayings. Okay? So again, critic would be for people. For example, Frank Rich was the theater critic of the New York Times. But if you're talking again about actions or opinions, the verb would be criticize. And just one note about pronunciation. Criticize, as the infinitive, has 3 syllables. But remember, because it's got that z sound at the end, we need to add an extra syllable when we're using the third person singular. I criticize, you criticize, but the critic criticizes. 4 syllables. You need to add that extra syllable to hear the S. So remember, critic talks about the person, not the article in the newspaper. And criticize means find fault with something. Got it? Once more, thanks again for tuning into my videos. Now that the summer's here, hopefully I'll get back on the blog and be able to post some other stuff, useful stuff on the blog. Feel free to visit the blog. It's at http:// the website address is stopspanglish.blogspot.ca, and there's a hyphen between stop and Spanglish. And if you'd like more information about English classes for Spanish speakers of English, please feel free to contact me via the webpage, which is www.stopspanglish.com.